92 drivers in the OK Junior category descended on the new challenge of the Leopard Circuit Viterbo for the third round of the Champions of the Future season. Starting with 3 groups of timed qualifying on Thursday, Iskender Zulfikari took overall pole position, the only driver to break the 53-second barrier.
The circuit is like a really tight circuit, so it's kind of hard to overtake. That's why pole position is really big advantage, especially in the start. You just pull away. We'll see if I'm pole, but honestly, sub-zero is kind of fast.
Into the first of 5 rounds of qualifying heats, grid position was key as Juan Garciase, William Calleja and Iskender Zulfikari all won their first heats from pole. Round 2 saw a first win for Dan Allemann. Calleja and Garciase's second wins left them top of the pile at the end of Thursday. Round 3, Dan Allemann started the day with a second win of the meeting. Calleja broke the overnight tiebreaker to make it 3 from 3, before Zulfikari bounced back with a second win after round 2's DNF. Round 4, Allemann took the lead in the intermediate points before the lunch break, before Ilie Christian's first win of the race meeting pushed him into contention with Zulfikari also fighting back. Into the final round of heats, Allemann and Calleja were best positioned to take the superheat poles, but had to wait their turn as Crisan and Zulfikari won again. One heat remained to decide the superheat grids, with Allemann coming out on top ahead of Calleja, whose second place on the road secured the other superheat pole. Joining them on the front row for the start of Saturday's action will be Tristan, a consistent Henry Domain as well, with plenty to play for on the finals day in Viterbo.
Yeah, it was a very good day. Consistent and no mistakes. We worked really hard and it was a super day, yes.
Saturday started with OK Junior's superheats. Dan Allemann knew a win from pole would secure first position in the final intermediate classification, which he achieved with another resounding victory from Sebastian Eskandari-Marandi and Ilie Christian. With pole for the final decided, Superheat B would see a battle of the forces for the other spot on the finals front row. However, it would be Noah Baglin coming through to win the superheat ahead of William Calleja and Danny Babicek. With all of the heats complete, the front row for the final would be shared between Allemann and Calleja, Crisan and Baglin on row 2, Eskandari-Marandi and Zulfikari on row 3, whilst championship contender Henry Domain would start 7th.
We are out and racing in the OK Junior final. It's a solid start for the front of the grid, and look at how Allemann has held on to that one, and it's a brilliant getaway for him. Calleja has slotted into second place, no drama there, and it's Baglin already on the defensive from the rest of the field into the wild of turn number 5. They're about 3-4 wide on the exit there. I think that may have been the Andrea Mani trying to get down the inside. He got sandwiched in the middle of the pack, a little bit of contact between the two of them, but they're all still running right now, and the entire field of 36 screams down from turn 11 into the hairpin at turn 12.
Oh, it's getting tight, 3, nearly 4 wide as they run down to turn number 12 in the second half of the pack. There's a spinner at turn 13. Is that the 95 of Alex Molota? I think it is. Alex Molota, who's had a great week through the qualifying heats and the super heat, would deserve a lot of points in this final, but it's not going to get them. He falls to the back of the order.
The Slovakian who started this on the 4th row of the grid, no longer in contention. Down the inside, action on, and he's trying to get it restarted. Kicks the card in frustration. I'm out. That is disastrous for him. Absolutely, I really do feel for him there.
Meanwhile, at the front, very similar performance to what we've seen throughout the weekend, as there is Tristan down the inside of Domain for 6th place. Clean move there through turn number 5. But Dan Allemann again turning the pace at the front of the field, 53.734 that time around. His advantage is nearly a half-tenth of a second.
And so keeping that pace nice and high. Down the inside, Danny Babicek on the charge, gets past Domain, and Domain now under pressure from Hoogendoorn, who's going to look down the inside at 13, but thinks against it when the time they get there.
That earlier race in the morning, Blanco on the move again, another one of the Powerlings moving up the order. That was actually Juan Garciase moving up to 23rd position.
I'm going to go back a bit and talk about what you were saying about that the circuit. As I do that, Tristan's going to go for the move on Sebastian Eskandari. He's got that one done nicely up into P5 now.
Another driver who's just moved in as down the inside there, that's Evan Purcell having a go at Dean Hoogendoorn. Hoogendoorn off the racing line, but has recovered well there. This is all over 9th place.
This right here, though, still very close as well. This is Zulfikari and William Calleja. This is the battle for 2nd place. The battle between the two teammates now is on.
It's very much on, and I think we're going to start to see a realisation that they're not going to catch Dan Allemann on sheer pace here today. I did wonder whether this would be the case, as Hoogendoorn has a look down the inside of Domain and does take 8th place there.
But my eyes will focus more on Baglin, who's just behind him. Personal best, sector 1 on this lap. He is closing in and making it a 3-car battle for 2nd place. Out of the last couple of corners for Switzerland and Ward Racing, the young man steps up onto the winning scene in OKJ. It is Dan Allemann across the line. He wins here in Viterbo. It's a beautiful sight for the young Swiss driver. A Leicester flag finish after a superb round in qualifying and those qualifying heats. Finally, he can celebrate on the top step.
I was like keeping pushing even if the tires are coming too hot, so trying to make the best conditions, yeah.
3 rounds down, 2 to go, and an intriguing championship picture as OK Junior heads to Denmark for round 4. Can William Calleja stay out ahead of the rest of the field from teammate Domain? Will Crisan or Baglin strike back in Rugby? Or will it be one of the dark horses, including Viterbo's winner Dan Allemann? The run-in to find OK Junior's champion of the future starts here. We'll see you in Denmark for round 4 in late July.